everyone, and welcome to our VoyagerNetz Engage Getting Started video tutorial. If you're watching this, my guess is that you already have a VoyagerNetz Engage deployment ready to go and are looking for a chance to get jump-started in your account, or maybe you're training your team. If you haven't yet set up your own Engage platform for your business, please contact us and we'd be happy to help you launch an account of your very own. You can message us here in the US at 708-797-9681, or you're also welcome to email us at engage@VoyagerNetz.com. You can also do some research of your own and see some of the information that we have at our website, VoyagerNetz.com/engage. We're excited to start a conversation. All right, let's jump in. The first thing we need to do is log in. If you're the first user of your VoyagerNetz Engage account, then you'll have received a deployment email that will have all the information you need to log in. If not, please contact your admin for your specific username and password. The first piece of information is going to be your instance name. This is going to be similar to your business name, but more likely very similar or even identical to your domain name, which is what's in your website or email. Once you have that, you'll be able to log in to your web-based product. You can also download our iOS app or our Android app, which is called VoyagerNetz Engage. You'll also need your instance name there as well. Today we'll be working on the desktop version, which is where you'll need the URL. That URL is going to be www.engage.yourinstancename.voyagernetz.us. This is specifically your setup for your business. Once you're there, you're going to get to this page to log in. You'll see that my instance name is VoyagerNetz, so that seems a little repetitive, but obviously that's the business that I'm associated with. Your email will also include an admin email and a password to get you started, and you're able to change that password once we get in. You're also able to add users once you're logged in as well, and I'll show you that within our admin section. But here we go. Now I can sign in. And this is VoyagerNetz Engage. You'll see here that right now it kind of automatically opens up into the conversation section. VoyagerNetz Engage is broken down in these 4 buttons here at the top. The first one is Conversations, which is where you're going to spend 95% of your time within Engage. The next one is Dashboards, which is only seen by admins and some supervisory roles, and allows you to get a snapshot of what's going on in your Engage instance at any given time, both in terms of conversations as well as usage when it comes to messaging. The next section is Admin, again, only available to administrators on this account, and this is where you're going to be able to manage all of your different needs in terms of conversational management, your standard responses, closings, all of that. We'll run through that a little bit later on. And then the last one is your profile section. Your profile section is about you and your individual account. But first, let's go ahead and start with Conversations. This is the Conversations window, and you'll see there's 3 different accounts here at the top: Waiting, Assigned, and Completed. Again, you're going to spend a lot of your time in the Assigned section because these are your active conversations, ones that you're participating in as a user. The first section here is Waiting, and that's where all of the new conversations enter. All of your different users are going to have the same waiting section because those conversations are not yet connected to a specific account. Assigned, there's owners of conversations as well as participants, and then in Completed, these are the conversations that are closed and categorized from the past. Within Waiting, I'm going to go ahead and send an example message right now. And you'll see that I'll get notified. I also get notified by my mobile app as well as the desktop notifications. And here's the one that indicates there's something in waiting that needs to be attended to. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Waiting. And here is our conversation. You can see by this circle that the conversation is not accepted yet. That's why it's still in waiting. You are able to select the conversation and read it ahead of time, so that you're able to better understand whether you should be the user to accept this conversation. It's still in waiting, it's still unassigned. If I want to accept this conversation, I can either click this accept button down here or down here as well. Now you'll see there's no more conversations left in waiting because this one is now unassigned. You'll see now a box is shown up here at the bottom so I can interact with this account. I'm going to go ahead and click open this conversation, and here it is. You'll see at the start of the conversation, it gives us the date as well as the medium, the channel, and then the number that's associated with this conversation. This icon here indicates an SMS message. This came in via SMS or standard texting, as opposed to Facebook or web chat or other channels. This icon changes depending on the channel. You also see that this is the number that is associated with that account. If we were to use this via Facebook, we would see the specific page that is associated. So if you had multiple pages that were different Facebook accounts that were associated with this VoyagerNetz Engage instance, here it would indicate what page. Again, so that in that acceptance state, you would have a better way of understanding what you should accept and not accept within waiting. And then here obviously indicates the beginning of the conversation. This is the text message that came in. This message here is our automatic greeter. This message goes out automatically to every new incoming conversation. I'll show you how to edit that once we get into the admin section. But it's just important for you to note here that I didn't send this. This automatically went out, and you can see as it's indicated here by the system and not by an individual. So I'm going to go ahead and respond, and so that you can see when the message goes through, there's a little clock icon here, and then once it's sent, that'll change into a check mark. You can also see on the side, as the way this did with the system having sent it, I sent this. I am the owner of this conversation currently, so that's why it's my initials. You can also see in the top right here that my initials are in the top right as well. On the left-hand side, you'll see the different owners as well indicated on the different conversations that we have. All of these conversations within assigned are owned by somebody. They're assigned to somebody. But I can also be a participant in a conversation, which means I don't own it. I'm not in charge of it. But for some reason, I've been brought in on that conversation so that I can add some collaboration with my teammates. The other section we have here is Other. And Other indicates conversations that I'm not owning and I am not a participant on. But because I'm an admin in this account, and this is for admins and supervisors, not standard users, there's this Other section, which allows me to see all of the conversations that are happening in all of the three categories. This Other section, again, won't even show up for a regular user and is designed to help supervisors be able to better coach their team. You're able to use this menu here at the top to easily select and unselect items so that you can organize it however you see fit. It won't affect any of your notifications or anything like that. Now the Other doesn't get any notifications no matter what. That's for participating in mine. But if you are a participant on a conversation, you will get notified. Speaking of, let's go ahead and add my colleague Hans to this conversation so I can show you some of the team collaboration elements that are at play here in our VoyagerNetz Engage account. So up here you're seeing the top right, this is our user count. Right now there's just me, and you'll see my name is indicated here because I am the owner. I'm going to go ahead and click into participants and click this top right button, which allows me to add a participant. I'm going to go ahead and add Hans. Now right now Hans is getting a notification that he has been added to a conversation. So I can close out of here, and you'll see now this number has changed to 2. I am still the main host here because I'm the owner, but that number has gone ahead and jumped up to 2. Hans's indicator will now be light blue because he's a participant, and he'll get notifications about everything in this conversation. Now you see down here that there are 4 elements. These are all within the conversation. This first one is the contact info. So if I want to put in a name, last name, email, you'll see the number automatically populates here. And if we were working through Facebook, this is also where the Facebook ID would be. This contact reference section is often used when you have an account ID or something specifically to the customer, a receipt number, things like that, in order to better organize for your business. These fields can be used however you see fit, as well as our notes section. Now this contact info saves to the contact. So I'm going to go ahead and save this number as John Doe. And when I save that, you'll see it's reflected here on the left. It's also reflected on the top. And everything that happens in that contact section is going to be reflected the next time that John Doe signs in. So you can keep ongoing notes about the person, their different orders, anything like that can be saved. The next 3 buttons are conversation specific. So these are all going to live inside the conversation. So when John Doe texts in a new time, these will all be refreshed. The first one is internal chat. Now this is a place where participants on the conversation can discuss this specific conversation without the customer seeing and from wherever they are. So here I'm going to say, hi Hans. I'm going to go ahead and send Hans this message, and he'll get indicated. I'm going to close here so you can see when he responds what it looks like from a user perspective. Again, from Hans's perspective, he can't write any messages here at the moment, but he's getting all the same notifications, and if the individual were to text in, the customer to text in, they would also get notified. And there we see our notification. I also got my push notification on my desktop as well as my mobile notification because I'm signed in across the board. But you'll see that now I've gotten notified at the top section of my assigned, which shows me that there's one thing within my assigned conversations that need to be dealt with. Let's say I had multiple conversations that had a series of messages from both customers, internal messages, notes, and all of that. That number would collectively sum that total, so I would know how many I need to deal with. This icon here specifically tells me that there's an internal chat, and you'll see that it matches the button down here for the internal chat, and now I have a blue pulsing icon. I'm going to go ahead and open this, and there Hans, excellent. He's available to help us with this demonstration. And I've asked him to write us a note because I want to show you the notes section. So like I said, this first button is the contact information. The next is this internal chat, and there you go. He wrote back and he said on it. Excellent. So he's going to write us a note, and we can see how this is notified. Now, internal chats are more for actual conversation between people. Notes is more of a data collection point. Again, you're welcome to use this in any way you see fit, but I like to view internal chat as more as a side conversation when you need answers from your staff members, whereas notes can be a way to track pictures of receipts, pictures of jobs if you work in a field services industry, anything like that, and anything having to do with the conversation that's not necessarily an interaction with your people. But as you can see, all participants can leave notes here very easily. And again, these live within the conversation. So when John Doe texts in again, in a new conversation after we've completed this one, the conversation notes will be refreshed. I'm also going to go ahead and transfer to Hans. So let me go ahead and let him know. So I've let him know I'm going to transfer to him, and I want to show you how this works. So right now I own the conversation. Note how the button here is blue, how my initials are in the top right here. I'm going to go ahead and open up the participants, and there's this icon here, which is the transfer button. So I'm going to go ahead and select that, and here I can put a reason to transfer, and you can write anything in here you like. What this does is it shows Hans why I'm transferring to him. Maybe it's better for his department. Maybe it's someone he knows. Maybe I'm just not equipped to handle it. You know, anything like that I can put here in this reason so that prior to Hans accepting the transfer, he knows why. I'm going to go ahead and click transfer. And as you can see, there's a pending transfer request. And this icon here has changed to a transfer icon. Right now, I still own the conversation until this moment where Hans accepted the transfer. And now you can see I'm a participant. This button has changed to light blue to match our participating icon. I can no longer write to the individual. And you can see Hans's initials are now the main one in this top right corner. I'm going to go ahead and open up this internal chat from before, and he was ready. And you can also see that the colors have changed here to indicate that while to the customer the message hasn't changed, this is all coming from our VoyagerNetz account. We on the back end can see, oh, Hans sent this as compared to when I sent it. Let me go ahead and open up the internal chat. So I've asked Hans to go ahead and send this conversation back to me so that you can see what it's like to be on the receiving end of a transfer. Again, at any given point, a conversation is owned by an individual. So right now, the conversation is owned by Hans. Can you go ahead and see? Sure, perfect. It's owned by Hans until he transfers it and I accept it. And so it's owned until that very moment. And here's what it's looked like to receive a transfer. If Hans had put in a transfer message, it would have shown up right here. Again, he still owns it until I accept it. And I can accept it by either clicking this green check mark in the menu over here, or by clicking accept in the bottom right. It's exactly the same. So as soon as I click accept, you'll see again, I'm able to message the customer. This button has turned blue, and we're back here with my initials at the forefront. That's kind of a basic understanding of how our team collaboration works. This last button here at the bottom is our conversation info. So this is where you want to put in all the information having to do with this specific conversation. Again, there's a reference number that you're able to use however you see fit. You'll see the created date, the name, the channel, the reference number, and then once you complete this conversation, the outcome name and category will also live in here. And then you'll see a complete and total history of everything we just did in case you need to refer to it. Two more elements that I want to show you down here is one is the picture category, and you'll see this button a few different places like in the notes section, and here you're able to download a picture. If you're using a camera enabled piece of technology, you're able to capture a picture through this as well and send it to the customer easily. The other side is this button, which is our standard responses button. Now I'll show you a little bit more of our standard responses when we get to the admin section, but you can see if I click on here, I'll see all the pre-packaged responses that are in my account, and all I have to do is select an option, and you'll see it automatically populates. It allows me to edit it as well. So it doesn't automatically send the message, it just takes out the repetitive nature of writing the same message over and over again. This allows you as an admin to be able to help coordinate the kind of messaging you use, the language that you want your users to use, but it also allows you to just be much more efficient with your time. That pretty much wraps up our conversations portion of this tutorial, but really as you explore it, this is very much similar to using any other messaging software with the ability to collaborate with your team on the side. The next button you'll see here on the left is our dashboards button. Again, these are only visible to our admins and some supervisor roles. Dashboards are an administrative tool to help you understand where you're at in your account. The first one is a workspace dashboard, and this shows you this open conversations as well as the assigned conversations and completed conversations and how they're broken down. This shows that we currently have 83 open conversations. If I had some in waiting, a portion of this would also be in waiting. So if you're supervising over multiple people, you'll be able to see, oh, we have several in waiting and the time dealing with that as well. The second one is assigned conversations, and this shows the breakdown of the different users. Currently, I own 36, and Hans owns 43. Then we have our completed conversation, and this particular dashboard is organized by those outcomes that I talked about. So the inner circle is the outcome category, and then the outer circle is the specific outcome. And again, I'll show you those when we get into admin, but they're easily understood within this graphic here. The second dashboard is our usage dashboard. What this shows is the breakdown of what kind of messages you're sending, as well as how many you're sending in a given calendar month. You'll see on the side that it breaks down the different channels that we're using, and then the graph will show you that as associated with the specific month. This gives you a good snapshot of where you are, what your usage rates are, and everything like that, and gives people an understanding of where they are before they get to month end. The next section is our admin section. And again, this is only available to admin users. If you're not an admin user, this section just simply won't show up on your user interface. The first section is conversation management. And this basically controls all the automated messages that you can use within your account. These messages are completely optional and customizable to your needs. They also don't need to be filled out. If you don't fill anything out here, they just simply won't be used. But we do encourage you to have a greeting message. The greeting message is that first message that automatically came, if you remember, from the system. And this just gives your customers an understanding that you have received their message and that you're working as hard as you can. Again, you can put anything you want here. You can put your hours in here. You can put in your own content, your own language. But we found that it's very important to have this greeting message so that people understand that their message has been received. Even if you don't get to it for a little while, their message has been received. These next two are the delayed conversation acceptance message and the delayed response to an inbound message. This first one is the message that will automatically be sent when conversations stay in that waiting area without being accepted for a specified amount of time. Again, completely customizable. You type in the message here and you select the hours, minutes, and seconds of that specified time. The delayed response to an inbound message is the message that will automatically be assigned when an owner of an assigned conversation has not replied to a received message in a specified amount of time. When multiple consecutive messages are received, only the first message will be responded to. So what this means is that if I own a conversation and someone has messaged in, but I haven't responded yet, this is going to send that automatic message. Both of these options are mostly used by people who have a focus team dedicated to their Engage interface. We recommend using a greeting message to start, using Engage a little bit before you understand what these times should be. Again, completely customizable and optional to you and your needs. This next section is users. This is where if you're an admin, you can add your users, allow other members from your team to be participants in your conversation. All you have to do is hit this plus button on the top right, select a first name, last name, and email. As you can see here, it won't allow you to use an email address multiple times because it also is used as your username. Then there's a password, which must be at least 8 characters, and you'll have to confirm the password as well. This last section is the role, which you have an admin, supervisor, and user. Admin has complete access. That's the kind of account we're looking at right now. Supervisor will have the access of a user in terms of conversational management, but it'll also have access to that other category. And then user basically will have access to that conversational section, to the waiting area and everything like that, but they won't be able to force themselves into a conversation or have access to the dashboards or administrative section. Once you save them here, they're able to sign in the same way that we signed in here today. You can also edit existing users and change their password if you so need to. The next section is outcomes. Outcomes, again, are when we complete those conversations and how we want to categorize them in the back end. A lot of people will use this for successful interactions versus unsuccessful interactions, or if they want to know what kind of job it was or what kind of interaction it was. This is so specific to each individual business that we just allow you to create them yourselves. We have outcome categories, which is kind of the overarching category that you saw on the dashboard, if you remember. And so a category can have multiple different outcomes. And then you have outcomes, which are the specific outcome that you want to associate with it. So you can see in outcomes, conference is the category, and then basic interaction is the subcategory, or the outcome itself. To add an outcome is very easy. All you have to do is hit this plus button, select a name and a category, and then click save. The same with your outcome categories. Just hit this top button. Obviously, you're not going to pick a category for a category. All you have to do is put in the name, and then you're good to go. The same goes for deleting an outcome. All you have to do is hit this trash can in the top right. Deleting a category, however, is harder. It won't allow you to delete them if there's existing outcomes within the category, for the sake of our dashboards and everything else. Responses, on the other hand, work exactly the same way when it comes to adding. You have your responses, and then you have your response categories. So these are the categories, and then you can see campaigns is the category, and we have all the responses underneath it. Responses can be used in two ways. The first is the way that we showed you within the conversation, where you can click that icon in the right-hand side of the text box within an existing conversation that allows you to populate pre-existing messages that have been decided by your admin team. This allows you to save time, make you more efficient, and allows the messaging from your entire list of users to be the same, with the ability to edit. The second way that responses can be used is to help your customers to help themselves through our self-help concept through hashtags. Allow me to demonstrate. When you go to add a response using your top right-hand corner, just like before, I'm going to go ahead and select a name. I'm going to go ahead and put it under onboarding for right now as a category. I'm going to use the tag test2 for our purposes. And then here is our message. Once I save this message is not only going to be categorized to be used as a standard response, but it's also going to be associated with this hashtag. I'm going to go ahead and click save. As you can see, it lives here under onboarding. And now I'm going to go ahead and message in that hash test2 from our customer portal. Here it's come in. I also got notified by my desktop notification as well as in my mobile device. And here the message came in, test2. And then as you can see, an automatic message came out here from the system. Test2 is working. Now this has endless possibilities when it comes to how you can use this for your business. We suggest using it to allow ongoing information that needs to be updated for your customers so that they can seek out information without you even having to respond. For example, if you were a brewery that might have a food truck that comes in every week, what you could do is you could set up a hashtag for food truck, and then you could update that information whenever you want. This works in existing conversations as well as new conversations. So I could type in hashtag food truck to my brewery, and maybe it would reply with the next 3 food trucks that would come along. But if they update that information and I text hashtag food truck the next week, then that data would be updated as well, and I would get the new information in the hashtag. This can also be used in order to figure out promotions, testing different ideas for different groups. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. But this, again, allows our system to help your customers help themselves, thereby saving you time and saving you effort. That's a breakdown of our standard responses. This last section within admin is our channels section, and this is where you would attach channels, different messaging channels that you want to link into our system. All you would have to do is when you're in these channels, for example, we have Facebook linked at the moment, and all you have to do is click this link button. It'll open you up to log into Facebook, and then it will allow you in just a few simple steps to add the page. You'll be linked to your Facebook page in just a matter of moments. I would suggest checking out our Getting Started guide for the breakdown of a step-by-step in how that works. That basically closes up our admin section. This last section here is just our profile section, and all of your users will have one of this. It's a breakdown of your username, your email, where to sign out, and everything like that. It also shows you what version of Engage you're in, so that you can understand. If you need to edit anything within this, including your password, you select the edit button in the top right, and here you can type in your current password and new password, or update your profile name. Of course, we suggest that you pick a profile name that the rest of your team will know. All you have to do is click Save then, and all of those changes will be reflected. Well, that closes up our Getting Started with VoyagerNetz Engage video tutorial. Please remember you can contact us anytime if you have any questions. Again, you can message us at 708-797-9681 or email us at engage@voyagernetz.com. You can also continue to explore our website, see all of our latest blogs and insights at voyagernetz.com/engage. We are so excited to have you with us on this journey. Thank you so much for working with us.